So, chapter 41 got adapted to an OVA, and I was kind of like thinking to myself, why couldn't you have just adapted it into the actual season and just acted another Shuyu chapter? But no, we actually got it as an OVA, so it's kind of like, okay, look, how can their Bones adapt this quite crucial, this quite emotionally intense chapter into this actual episode? And for the most part, Bones did a freaking good job. Bones did their job, they did it freaking damn well. They added characters which I didn't think could be added into this kind of episode, or the chapter in this case, really freaking damn well. It's kind of like, okay, Bones, you did a good job, you did it freaking damn well. Yeah, you changed certain fundamental things about it, but the actual kind of overarching storyline was there. It wasn't changed too much. But in this case, you added Ibisu, you also added Vina and Kazuma. It's kind of like, okay, well, you added it in. I ain't fussed. You did a freaking damn good job. I actually quite liked it. Certain scenes that are already in the manga that were quite emotionally intense were added to. There was actually certain scenes, especially the one with Hiyori and Yato. It just felt more emotionally intense. I was kind of like, good job, Bones. You did a freaking good job. I was like, I can't complain. I really can't. I mean, certain things were cut. I was kind of like, oh. I was kind of like, there's certain like panels that were cut or changed slightly. Certainly the rafter scene, in the sense when they're going down and Yukine holding a sign saying, Hiyori, will you marry me? That was completely cut from the actual anime, and instead of basically the delivery got on it. I was kind of like, so he's basically just like kind of promoting Yato, but I was kind of like, what do you change that one? That's kind of like my favourite thing. But yeah, I mean, the exposition shot basically tells you straight away, look, they've changed quite a lot in the sense, Ibisu is basically in the exposition shot. Ibisu is looking through past pictures of his past self, looking at different like inspections that he did. He basically sees a picture of Capuland, and he goes to Kunamin, okay, what's this? And he goes, that's Capuland, and he kind of says to himself, okay, I must go there. And then what happens is they both go there, Kunamin and him go there. Kunamin and him actually get split up, and then what happens is Kunamin goes back to Tangahara and goes to Vina and asks Vina, have you seen him? And Vina goes, no, I haven't. And he's kind of like, oh, well, I'm really worried now, so I don't know if he can actually do all these things on his own. At this point, Kunimi actually turned to low-key best character, in a sense. He just goes, I don't know if he can actually pass the lights correctly, I don't know if he can actually go to the toilet correctly, they can go to elevators, use the elevators. It was freaking fantastic. Kunimi is basically getting some screen time, just showing his, like, kind of humorous props. I was kind of like, good job. I hope he gets more screen time in season 3 because he's actually freaking fantastic. And then basically at that point, Vina going, okay, we'll split up and go and look for him. Do you have any ideas? And in the book that Vina's reading, because Vina's reading a book about all the things, all the exchanges they've had, kind of says we want Capital Land in Tagamahara. And at that point he goes, maybe there. And then we get to cut to an exposition shot of Yato explaining the story of Capital Land, and we all know it's made up. And at that point, Ibisu actually appears and joins the group of Yato, Yukine, and Hiyori. And then, yeah, and hilarity ensues because basically Ibisu's going there for economical gain. He's going there for economical gain to basically prosper Japanese economy. So he's kind of just looking there and kind of like almost inadvertently destroying Yato's like dream of seeing Capital Land as kind of a real place, because we all know Yato kind of sees Capital Land as a real place, and Ibisu's kind of saying these things. It's like maybe he's like kind of Yato's not picking up on it, but he's kind of thinking to himself, something's going on here. And then Hiyori and Yukine going, no. So that was also the very other arcing thing in the sense they're not trying to destroy Yato's dreams, in the sense they're not trying to destroy Yato's dreams and saying that the Kappas aren't real. It's kind of really nice in that regard. I actually quite like that. I quite like they kept that in. And then yeah, so we actually see these sections with Ibisu, Hiyori, Yato, and Yukine, and it's quite funny because in this case, in the actual episode, I mean the actual manga chapter, Yukine's actually taking the pictures, but in the actual episode, it's Ibisu taking the pictures, so it's kind of changed in that regard, which actually changes one fundamental scene later on into the episode. And then, yeah, so, I mean, the main thing I'm kind of talking about here is Hiyori's kind of depression of going there. Hiyori's not wanting to be there. Hiyori's kind of having the idea, look, I want to be here because Yato wants to go there. I want to go with Yato since day one. Yato, and I want to have memories with him here, but I had to go with Fujisaki instead, and Fujisaki just completely just decimated it and basically made me forget. So she has the kind of overlooming fear that she has to experience the whole thing again, but in this case with Yato, she can't actually have fun. You can see in her eyes she's not having fun because she's having that overlooming idea of the memory of Fujisaki kissing her, so it's kind of just really evident she doesn't really want to be there. You're kind of just feeling really sorry for her because she's sort of really just distraught over everything that's going on, because again she's sort of enjoying herself, she's kind of having some sort of fun because she's saying to herself, I've got to have fun, but she has that kind of memory in the back of her brain. It becomes more evident later on to the episode, in the sense when she goes to when Yato and everyone goes to the actual like show, that's a scene in which it's really emotionally intense, and I think the way that Bones adapted it was freaking fantastic, and the way they actually added to it was even freaking damn better. I thought, good job on you, Bones, because that scene was one of the things I didn't want changed, and it adapted it so freaking damn well. I thought, good on you. But yeah, Kofku as well. Kofku was added into it. I thought, okay, if one thing they didn't want to change, I wanted Kofku still in the chat, and Kofku basically just tailing around with Yato, kind of like in the darkness, not really being seen, which kind of was a bit weird because she was really evident in anything, because everything was going wrong around. Literally everything that she went on, like every single ride basically just broke down. Every single like ride, like the one with the sharks, real sharks actually came out. It's kind of like just doing what Coffee does, was put a misery on. I was kind of like, okay, at least it didn't actually kind of cut her out, because she was kind of like a fundamental thing that kind of came later on to the episode itself, kind of showing the whole idea and the whole dreams of Yato, and says Yato realizing that Kappas aren't real. It's kind of like, I guess, one thing they should never have changed, and they didn't change, and I thought, good on you, Bones, they didn't take Kofku out. And they didn't actually take out the Daikoku scene, in the sense where Daikoku actually goes to the child, and when child goes up to him and goes, Daddy, and then he looks and goes, are you lost? They didn't change that scene. I thought, good on you, because when you think in the context, when you read the volume, when they have the child, you kind of like, no, because it's, I started tearing up, because I've had that memory in the back of my brain of that volume. It's kind of like, no, kind of like, don't, stop, just stop right now, literally stop, whatever you're doing right now, because I do not want to be reminded of that volume and that chapter, because it's freaking like one of the most emotionally intense chapters I've read in my lifetime. Kind of made me tear up a slight bit. That guy didn't actually change it, and it kind of coffee looking and kind of some sort of sadness, so it just made you kind of tear up inside. But yeah, now going to the elephant in the room. Basically, the point in which Hyori goes to see the show with Yato and Yukine, and that section was adapted freaking damn well. I loved it. I thought the way they actually adapted it was really freaking damn great, because you saw Hyori didn't want to go there, because Hyori had the memory come back to her straight away that Fujisaki kissed her. So she's like, I don't want to go there, and Yato's going, why don't you want to come here? And everyone else around them getting the wrong idea, thinking they're just broken up, and then thinking Yato's become a stalker. And she's like, just leave me alone, I don't want to be here, I want to go home. And then reluctantly, she just goes, okay, I'll have to kind of experience this. And in that scene, the whole music changes to a somber kind of tone. You can see it's a magical time, it's a magical scene. It's one that's seen as meant to be happy and everything, but the soundtrack completely changes the mood, and the soundtrack did it so freaking exquisitely that I was like, yeah, you can feel the depression, you can feel like the sadness in this scene, because Hyuri is kind of just distraught. She's destroyed inside, because she's has to like remember this whole whole thing with Fujisaki. She's like, she wants to have fun, but she can't. And then Yato's having fun, but then Yato realizes, okay, I'm being insensitive here. I'm kind of having fun, and you're not having fun. I'm just getting a bit carried away. And he's basically blaming himself, and you realize it's not his fault. It's not his fault. It's kind of just that one thing. It's kind of like, it's really sad, because you want to have fun, in basically saying, okay, we'll go home. And then Hyori going, no, don't worry, we'll stay here a little longer. I want to stay here longer with you. And in that scene, basically, the ship basically sets sail for basically Yato X Hero. It's kind of like, yes. It's kind of like, yes, the ship is sailing. I was kind of like, just freaking happy. But yeah, and then basically what happens is, inadvertently, Kofku and Daikoku actually experiencing the same kind of thing with the fireworks. Really, really nicely, and the cockroach walks past, and she actually just uses Daikoku and then basically opens a portal, destroys everything around her, and then basically Yato realizes that actually Kappas aren't real. And that's when the episode ends. The episode ends with actually the photos, and then one of the photos being the one where Hyuri is actually holding Yato's hands. So then basically Evie just put a picture of them holding hands. I was kind of like, that's the one thing I like that they changed, in the sense, in the actual chapter, it was actually, there was a camera roll with all of the things on there, so it's actually on the camera, so they could have got rid of it. But because the photos actually printed out, it's more sentimental. It's actually added to that scene, kind of added that thing that's kind of forever. It's that whole idea of forever. I thought it was actually really freaking nice. I thought it was actually one of those additions I actually quite liked. I thought, good on you. So yeah, overall, a freaking great episode, a freaking great adaptation of the chapter. Yeah, we liked it into the actual anime itself, in the sense of season 3, but the way it adapted, I thought, I'm not too fussed. I thought it adapted it pretty freaking well. Added more to it. The soundtrack was freaking fantastic. The characters as well. Just pinnacle, top tier characters in anime. Just, I love them all. Yukine just being a freaking damn babe. Just Hiro being a freaking damn babe, even though she was really depressed. And Yato just being Yato. Can't go fracking wrong. But with all that said, being driver, if you even like, do leave a like, it's quite a bit. Leave a sub, do leave a sub, it's quite a bit. But with all that said, been driving, I'll see you guys later. Bye for now.